having me. So why collaborate with insects? They outnumber us, we can't control them, and they don't share our values. The praying mantis often devours her mate. Yet without them, we wouldn't be here. They're the little creatures that keep the ecology running. Without insects, plants wouldn't be pollinated, the soil would rot, and the ecosystem would crash in a matter of months. And how do we repay them for supporting us? By hating them. My artwork is at the intersection of science and nature. I do extensive research for each of my long-term multimedia projects, and a direct engagement with the natural world is central to what I do. My work aims to give form to the richness as well as the brutality and indifference that often characterize our relationship with animals. For the past several years, I've been filming, photographing, and following the fates of more than a dozen colonies of leafcutter ants on the LAsER Peninsula in Costa Rica. To quote from the eminent biologist E.O. Wilson, these ants are the most complex social creatures other than humans. They are the charismatic mini-fauna, the Einsteins of the insect world. Leafcutter ants have eerie parallels to human society, and this is the conceptual basis of the work. They live in underground metropolises with up to 8 million members, where temperature and humidity are precisely controlled. It is a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers that can occupy 10 square yards and be 20 feet deep. Leafcutter ants cut vegetation from high in the forest canopy and carry the pieces in their mandibles across the forest floor to their colony, traveling up to 100 yards on trails meticulously cleaned by them. From this plant material, they cultivate mushrooms, which is their main food source. They are fungus farmers. As the principal herbivore of the forest, leafcutter ants are a dominant species, and like us, influence the grand structure of all other biological systems in their habitat. They also waged brutal wars. Here are a few pictures of the rainforest where I've been working. My project with these ants is an unusual collaboration. I work with their natural behavior. Leafcutter ants harvest from a wide variety of plants, and this gave me latitude in what I could offer them to form the narratives of the work. I would watch the ants respond, experiment, and adjust. Through this back and forth process, the project took shape. The work focuses on 4 supposedly unique human traits: language, ritual, war, and art. And the narratives aim to blur the boundaries between culture and nature. One of the principal characteristics humans and ants share is their socialness. And at the heart of a social species is communication. Ants invented a networked form of communication that rivals the internet and predates it by 100 million years. They constantly converse with one another using pheromones, sound, and vibration. They are nature's ultimate mobile communication devices. Without central command, millions of ants coordinate their behavior to create and sustain massive societies. The accumulation of their small gestures produces enormous complexity. There's a natural parallel between social media and the emergent behavior of social insects. Ants are an interconnected system of relatively simple elements that self-organize to form adaptive, complex behavior. They are driven by the patterns of interactions they experience through the colony's communication network. Ants solve problems by drawing on what is essentially user-generated data, as opposed to relying on a central command. With the rise of social media over the last decade, I've seen our own patterns of communication become more participatory and efficient like theirs, which is not top-down but bottom-up, and not command and control, but connect and collaborate. With ants, it's always multiple decisions made by multiple minds. Therein lies their power, and perhaps ours as well. Charlie Lindsay, my husband, made field voices of nearly every animal that makes a noise in the jungle, and it's a very noisy place. These recordings comprise the soundtracks of my films. I'll show you a few highlights from the project. This scroll is titled Colonize the Earth, and it is a 20-foot-long photographic scroll of the ants descending a tree at night, carrying pieces of leaves and also letters in their mandibles. The title is in keeping with their ecological power in the forest. Our history is full, both ancient and modern, of texts that heighten the divisions and impress superiority across tribes, cultures, and nations. The Leafcutter Ant Project borrows that language, in this case from the 8th century BC Assyrian Empire, and uses it as a metaphor for the relationship between humans and the natural world today. We, the chosen, who rule unafraid, builders of greatness, colonize the earth. We roar, no rivals, victory over all. One winter, a large colony harvested from a brightly colored plant with stripes and spots. The pieces of leaves the ants cut looked like art, like tiny abstract expressionist paintings. It was art on parade across the forest floor. Who is to say ants are indifferent to the aesthetics of the leaves they carefully select, cut, and carry home? The next year when I returned to finish this section of the project called Antworks, the colony that starred in the video had vanished, and the colorful plant was in terrible shape. It had not rained in months, and much of the normally lush rainforest was withered and dry. I searched the forest and found a few healthy plants, and was fortunate enough to entice another colony to finish the video. Although patience is a primary color on my artist palette, with this project my work has been subject at every stage, from concept to production, to the vagaries of climate and the collective decision of millions of ants. They may be small, but they are far from simple. Leafcutter ants are one of the few species to wage organized warfare on their own kind. They even have different strategies depending upon the location and severity of the war. If the battle is close to home, the larger soldiers will come out to defend the colony. If the war is far away, the small and mid-sized workers will fight. I observed a striking variation amongst ant colonies in their responses to the presence of another colony harvesting in the vicinity. Some colonies were tolerant of their neighbors, and others were highly aggressive and quick to wage war. It seems that even amongst ants, some groups are civilized and others are not. A line of leafcutter ants carrying green leaves across the forest floor looks like an animated drawing. I wanted to transform this parade into a pageant, into a celebration of color. I gathered flowers in the forest and offered them to a colony. They readily took them, and like a Balinese festival or a pagan rite, they paraded through the forest with their special offerings and brought them back to their colony and laid them at the feet of a golden idol. I'll show you two, there's 4 videos in the project, I'll show you 2 of them, We Rule and War. In many ways, there's a strong connection between the two. Even in the ant society, the propensity to declare the former, we rule, often leads to the latter, war.
did you get the first moving rule to the ants to carve or cut leaves into letters?
Well, as a filmmaker, you know, you edit things together. So I cut the letters.
Was there any evidence that the ants were perturbed by your filming? I'm thinking of the lighting.
You know, the lighting thing was really interesting. We've cut our ant colonies, and this is one of the great things about working where I was working, is that there were many big colonies living in the same area, and I really could compare behaviors. And colonies of the same species in the same area would behave incredibly differently, even though there's no ant from year to year, except for the queen, who's still alive. So somehow that behavior is being passed on, because I would go every winter. And I found that some of the colonies, one colony in particular, was hugely warlike. It was also really inflexible. It would not take anything else, even though they'd taken an infinite variety of plants, it wouldn't take anything else, even the exact tree that it was harvesting from, if I took a branch and moved it 1 foot closer. Other ants were enormously flexible in what you could offer them. They love the leaves of fruit leaves. They don't have that there, but they'll strip an orange tree if given a chance. And so the thing about the lights that was interesting is that some colonies completely ignored them. Some colonies were attracted to them. And some colonies, it was as if it was the devil that came out, and they would be coming out in massive numbers. I would turn the lights on, even during the day, turn the lights on, and they would run as fast as they could and hide. And I have no idea, there's no reason for one to do it. I mean, it was all in the same situation, you know, during the daytime, and they're cold lights, there's no warmth, there's no added heat. But the response was really curious.
Good questions. What was the source of that chirping noise in your first video?
You mean the howler monkeys?
The first video, there was a lot of chirping in it.
Yeah, that was howler monkeys.
That was happening. That wasn't the ants.
No, the ants make sound, and there was the ant sounds in there, but they're low.
Okay.
We recorded the ant sound.
Do you know of any practice of deception among the ants? Most animals have some way of protecting themselves with some form of deception, but I don't see any. Do the ants have any way of deceiving each other or the outside?
Against deception against what?
Well, since they're so worked together so well, do they try to misdirect? Do they put out misdirection? You know?
Do they what?
Do they try to do anything? Do they try to initiate any misdirection to fool others?
Well, the main predator of leafcutter ants is a parasitic fly. And when the workers are carrying a piece of leaf, oftentimes there's a little tiny ant that will ride on the leaf. It looks like it's just free riding its way back. And it's there as the little pit bull to fight off the parasitic fly. The ants go 100 yards into the forest, so the big soldiers tend to stay around home. Some of them do go out there. So that little ant actually is the first responder to any altercation that happens. So there's really no deceiving any other animal in the forest, because it doesn't seem like there's any other animal that really wants to eat them, including anteaters. Sometimes army ants will go after them, but leafcutter ants are bigger and they're formidable. So it's the parasitic fly. But an interesting thing about them working together is that they kind of do, they kind of don't. Leafcutter ants are hard to study in terms of sheer numbers, but they've studied 2 other different types of ants. And they have done a 3-color coding system to find out what the individual ants are actually doing. And they will follow that with a video for hours, then run all that through a computer and see how the tasks are broken down amongst members. And these 2 different species of ants, and I actually think is probably similar for leafcutter ants, 20% will do a task in a matter of minutes. 30% will do it in a few hours. and 50% is doing no work at all. So when you talk about cooperating, it's really kind of, are they really? I mean, they're creating these colonies. And then also another situation, I saw the ants line up upside down into the colony entrance, hanging upside down specifically to steal a piece out of their colony members' mandibles and take it in the colony themselves. There's no checks and balances. It's not like chimpanzees where they're trying to, take out cheaters.
Okay, and they're pretty good at war. What do they do with all those dead ants? Do they eat them or just
No,
leave them
they're
there?
vegetarians. They're fungus farmers.
So how long does it take to film the war scene, and how do you choose what to film? How many cameras do you have, and how many species of different types of ants are there?
I worked with 2 different species, but the war was between two they're hard to tell apart with your naked eye, but the war was between 2 colonies of the same species. And wars are hard to find in the forest. They're easy, leafcutter ants are easy to find because they make these big, distinctive trails through the forest. But when they go to war, they fan out, and they're agitated, they're in the leaf litter, it's hard to find the war. But once I found one, then I raked the area, which is about the size of this room, of where the battles were happening, because it was 2 big colonies. And then I put white pieces down in hopes that I'd be able to capture some of the war. Because you can't film something in the leaf litter. I mean, it's just that you get lost, and everything's brown. So that's where the white came in. And I also wanted to sort of make it more of a general universal war than specific just to insects in forests. And
How long actually?
This one really aggressive colony was picking its neighbors off. And one colony, it fought to the death and wiped them out. This one was where a large colony sent one small arm this direction to harvest. And the big colony was coming out at night, 6 o'clock, you set your watch by it, 6 o'clock.